Kevin Paul Scott is a Republican strategist who worked on Mike Huckabee's 2008 presidential campaign and a former aide to Georgia Congressman Paul Brown. Harlan Hill is a Democratic strategist and political consultant. Welcome to both of you. So, Kevin, explain how this works, because a lot of people are, listening to Donald Trump. He says it's a crooked system. They're trying to steal the election from him. How does it work? What is precisely an unbound delegate?
Yeah, so an unbound delegate are these individuals who, when they go to Cleveland, they are not required by party rules, by any statutes to vote for any candidate at all. They can vote for whoever they please. And right now we have something very interesting happening. As Donald Trump bashes the system, as he highlights some of the challenges with the GOP nominating process, he is getting regular voters more and more excited. At the same time, Ted Cruz is picking up a lot of these delegates along the way, even the bound delegates, the ones who have to vote for somebody on the first ballot. But these are people that are going to lean heavily in Ted Cruz's favor on second and third ballots. And what Donald Trump is doing that's helping him with the general electorate is hurting him with delegates in Cleveland. And it's becoming increasingly obvious. If Trump doesn't win on a first ballot, he's going to have a really hard time securing the Republican nomination.
I was mentioning this with our earlier panel, Harlan, but Trump has been even criticizing the delegates themselves, talking about how they get wined and dined and taken on boat trips and so forth, and suggesting that it's somehow a little unseemly almost to be a delegate. What do you think of that strategy?
Well, if the shoe fits, there might be some truth to that. I think that's true both on the Republican side and the Democratic side. There are entrenched interests that are in place to really perpetuate the establishment. Looking at superdelegates on the Democratic side, but also the caucus and nominating process for delegates on the Republican side. So I think that there's a lot of truth to what Donald's saying there.
The idea, Kevin, was that this nominating process, when I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. When Mitt Romney was so badly beaten up during the Republican process, 4 years ago, the idea was that the process would be streamlined to choose a winner early and let that person get into the general election with a whole lot of, damage being done to him by other contenders. There were so many Republican candidates in the race. Did that strategy perhaps fail?
Oh, it's obvious that it failed. I mean, if the goal of the GOP process was to eliminate the infighting, unite earlier, and have a solid choice to take on Hillary Clinton and the Democratic machine, this strategy failed. And what we're going to see is a race that's going to go down to the wire. It's probably going to be decided in Cleveland. Whoever loses is going to feel disenfranchised, whether that's the Trump supporters or it's the Cruz supporters, the anti-Trump forces, if you will. And it really does. Whether we like it or not, it leaves the Republican in a tough situation for the fall, because it's really tough to see us uniting behind one candidate at this point.
Well, yeah. Let's dispel with this notion that, that the establishment has known what it's doing the entire time. I think that they've stepped on every rake that they could possibly find, and Trump has taken advantage of it in a couple of places. But he's clearly winning a plurality of both voters and delegates, and if he goes into the convention very close, or even passing the threshold in the requisite delegates he needs for the nomination, he should get it. And if we're talking about changing rules, then we've got a different problem.
Well, that's spoken from the Democratic side. I just want to point that out to our viewers.
Hang on. We got to say this, and I am not anti-Trump. If he gets to 1237, he should be the nominee. But, Harlan, this isn't changing the rules. The rules say you've got to get 1237.
I understand.
The rules say if you don't get it on the first ballot, then it goes to somebody else.
Totally understand.
We can vote again. That's the rules. The rules have not been changed. We've got to be clear about this.
Let's remember that there's also been discussion of changing the rules of when the RNC convenes.
But they haven't been changed.
Well, there's been discussion, and so the media needs to hold a light to that and make sure that there aren't no shenanigans on the Rules Committee.
What's fascinating is that political conventions don't get the coverage because the networks say, oh, these things are boring, they don't matter anymore, it's all predetermined. Doesn't look like this is going to be the case, at least in Cleveland.
Both are going to matter this year. Both.
All right, Kevin, Harlan, thank you both.
Thank you.
Two words: shenanigans and colluding and collusion. I like both of those today.
Those are very much in play right now.
Good words. Yes, they are.